meal you had?
I remember several. I'll give you two.
Okay.
One was my first chicken yassa. Chicken yassa is sort of, it's become my totemic dish, if you will. There's anywhere I can shove it in a cookbook, another variant goes in. But it is basically a Senegalese dish. It is chicken that is grilled, well, marinated, lemon juice, lots and lots and lots of lemon juice, sliced onion, black pepper, habanero chili. Marinated, then taken out of the marinade and grilled, then returned to the marinade and stewed and served over white rice. And it's a classic Senegalese dish. So when you talk about infusing flavor and all of those
on
sort of
different levels.
On so many different levels, because you've got the original marinade, then you've got the grilling, then you've got the deepening of the flavor. I mean, it's just was an incredible dish. And I had probably had some other West African food at that point, because I had been to, well, I had certainly been to North Africa at that point, so I'd had some North African food. But I'd had, chebujen, which is a sort of red rice and fish dish. But this was something that just said, wham! It was just like an explosion. It was an explosion and a connection. I think it was my first real West African dish that I just, not just loved, but adored. And then it was like, oh, I need to taste more of this food now. What else is there? There was that. Then when we got down to the Ivory Coast, I had something called a sauce claire, which would be the other side of the spectrum. Sauce claire is a sort of thin, and I don't mean that in any kind of negative way, tomato-based sauce, kind of culinary paradigm for for African food in general compass, and it's a horrific generalization, but generally speaking is a soupy stew over a starch. So in Senegal, the chicken yassa was served over white rice. Senegal has its own rice, and West Africa has its own rice, but more about that maybe later. Excuse me, but in the Ivory Coast, what happened was this was served over fufu.
Which is?
Fufu, actually futu, which was beaten bananas, pounded bananas. And when you pound bananas, they get sort of elastic. And this was a dish that was not as successful, let me say. And my mother, God bless her, saved my heart. Saved my life. We were at a friend's house, and they had prepared this and served it up grandly in this, sort of exquisite tureen, and much and much and much. And I got the portion with the fish eye. I really.
Was that the honor?
I whatever it was looking at me, And it was like, well, gulp. And my mother sort of said, took it on her plate, gulped that thing down, and was good to go. I will go to my grave thankful for that one.